Good evening, Professor. Today I will be presenting on the mobile market in Mexico and will discuss on potential expansion into this market. Here is an overview of what I will be discussing. First, I will provide background of Mexico. Then I will give a history of the telecommunications and mobile market. I will discuss the advantages and benefits of expanding. Then I will cover the disadvantages, costs, and risks. Lastly, I will rate the overall attractiveness and provide a conclusion on whether or not my business partner's company should expand into Mexico. Founded in 1821 and revolutionizing in 1910, over the course of the next century, Mexico has quickly become one of the world's top producing country. For almost 30 years, North America, which is Canada, US, and Mexico, have had a trade agreement with each other, which was NAFTA, now USMCA, in order to encourage trade between the nations. According to the Central Intelligence Agency, Mexico's population is just under 130 million. Of that population, 68% is between 15 and 64, while 25% live in or near Mexico City. Mexico is a democratic republic with a mixed economy and laws based on civil law. With Mexico being such close proximity to the United States, and with current trade agreements in place to encourage trade between the nations of North America, the business culture of Mexico has many similarities to that of the United States. Mexico's telecommunications sector represents one of the most lucrative industries in the country. According to the Privacy Shield framework, since 2010, Mexican telecommunications have continued to outpace GDP growth while being the second largest importer of U.S. telecommunications, with over 117 million active mobile lines. Mexico's largest population and high demand for telecommunications display key indicators for potential growth. This is especially true for new companies to the market in Mexico that can provide improvements on broadband output, making cellular coverage more readily available to the people. Recently, there have been reforms on this sector in efforts to break apart major monopolies of this market and give the Mexican government more control of it. So, the advantages. Given that Mexico has a ripe telecommunications market, this sector can prove to be very profitable for foreign investors. With high demand and less than developed broadband capabilities, expanding to Mexico with the new software to provide more coverage could potentially be very beneficial to establishing presence in the market. With providing better quality and more coverage, a bigger premium could be charged as well to maximize revenue on services. There would also be a later mover advantage from expanding into Mexico. There will be lower initial costs as infrastructure is already set up and data will be readily available to help guide the expansion into the market. Now, some of the disadvantages are, well, one of the biggest challenges of expanding into the mobile market in Mexico is competing with monopoly giant América Móvil. Since privatization in 1990, the company has maintained control over the telecommunications sector in Mexico. According to Malkin, competitors of Telmex, América Móvil, complain that Telmex uses profits to subsidize price cutting on long distance rates, and that the profits were earned by steep fees that competitors were forced to pay in order to route calls through Telmex local lines. Not much has changed as far as how much control América Móvil has over the sector. Even after the telecommunications reform in 2013, you can see on the chart here that this company still maintains a monopoly in the market despite the reforms having the intent to break it apart and to encourage competition. The only thing that the reform accomplished was to give more power to the Mexican government to control the sector. With all that said, this poses a big political risk as the government has the power to dictate certain aspects of telecommunications, And seeing how corruption in Mexico is not that uncommon, it would not be an irrational conclusion to assume that America Mobile has political influence to control the market in its favor. When all factors are taken into consideration, there are definitely a lot more risks and costs when compared to the benefits. The overall attractiveness of expanding into a new market initially shows promise as being a business with a software application that will increase the hotspots in Mexico in a market that has a significant need for it. However, expanding into Mexico as a late mover creates disadvantages as well. Such consumers already have the first mover's products and strong competition against a company with a monopoly in the market. In addition to that, the possible political risk from government intervention from influence from that monopoly could incur even more further costs in the expansion. For all those reasons, I only see two feasible options. One, do not expand operations into Mexico. Or two, instead of expanding into Mexico as an independent competitor, expand in Mexico on a joint business venture with America Mobile, creating a mutually beneficial business relationship. Regardless, there is an opportunity and a responsibility to help the Mexican people be better connected. So if it were my business, I definitely would expand on a joint business venture with American Mobile. Thank you.